If you have found this YouTube video and you are looking to run a print farm, or you already run a print farm and you have not found me before, my name is Sam. I'm with 3D Design Bros, and you have stumbled across the best, if not only, spreadsheet that is designed and automated to help you manage your print farm as far as product cost and product pricing for online sales. This is actually version 3 of the spreadsheet, and we moved to Excel, so there's lots of updates in this one. If you've been along for this ride and you've used version 1 and version 2, you know that those are on Google Sheets. This update is by far the largest update we have done, and we are here to kind of walk through it and show you guys all the cool new stuff that we have done. So if you run a print farm, if you want to run a print farm, if you are just running one printer, but you want to help pricing your product so that you know you're actually making money on Etsy, this is where you want to be. This is the spreadsheet you want. Guys, just a reminder, this is like super beta spreadsheet. The only way to get this spreadsheet is if you are one of our Patreons. They are our beta testers for it. Eventually, this will be released to the public on a website somewhere, where anybody can, get it if they want it. But right now, it's only our Patreons. It's behind our $5 tier level, so it's not a big investment. We've had people tell us over and over again how the first product they ran through this scenario was able to make them back the money that this cost them to get the spreadsheet. And like we said, it is Patreon, so it is a reoccurring charge if you choose to do so. Obviously, you could just take the spreadsheet and cancel it. But this is a working, living product. We're always making updates to it. So if you want new updates, obviously you need to be a Patreon subscriber at the time of the update to get it. And we do multiple updates a month. This is, I think we did 2 last month. We're obviously starting the month here with a brand new update to start May. We're super excited about it. So anyway, if you want it, the links are below. Otherwise, if you want to see how it works first, to see if you want it, stick around. We're going to go through it. I'll talk about it, and we'll, show it off. So let's do it. Alright, so the first thing you're going to notice when you open up the file is, one, it's in Excel, like I talked about, but you're going to probably have to enable macros that are up here on the top somewhere if your Excel already isn't enabled for macros. So there's lots of macros in here. There's lots of code that happens behind the scenes to automate this the best we can, and it is just a lot to it. So enable macros, and then you're going to open the page right on the farm data landing page, and this is really the heart of the spreadsheet, guys. It's where you input your farm data so that spreadsheet works best for you, and that you don't get to see or have to deal with the other things that do not apply to you. So the first thing you're going to do, everything's labeled in order that you need to do it. So the first thing is your farm type. So obviously right now the only selection is FDM. Future will have resin, and beyond future of that, I could see this spreadsheet turning into not only 3D printing but CNC, anything that requires sort of you to track machine time, material cost, and then pricing for it online. I think this spreadsheet could handle in the future. But right now we are in the infancy of it. Like I said, super beta, so we are a FDM print farm, which I think is the vast majority of people out there who are trying to get into print farming. So first thing you do is you select FDM, and you'll see a new box appear down here that says Filament Data Sheet. We will get to that in a moment. It's also linked up here. Next, you're going to select the printer brands you use. So one of the big upgrades we did is we went from, what did we go from? We went from 7 printer selections in the old Google Sheets to 30 printer selections now. We are still limited to just these brands, but we have a lot of printers within each brand. So we are going to run this shop like it's my own shop. You can see printers behind me. So I run a few Creality printers, I run a couple Prusa printers, and I run a new Anycubic Viper, which is actually new to the shop. So we will select those to start with, and you can see we have tabs in the bottom that appear for those 3 brands. Next, we're going to pick the filament brands we use. So again, in the past spreadsheets, we had like 10 filament brands to pick from, but it was just the filament brand and a price. Now you pick the filament brand and you pick the colors of that brand of use and their specific pricing. So you can get down to the actual filament brand and type of filament and the cost of it and run it through your spreadsheet to know if you need to adjust your pricing on Etsy or wherever you're selling, should the buyer select a different color. Because obviously some of the silk rainbow filaments are more than just your matte black, right? So you should probably have an upcharge on your product if you are selling it in that type of filament, or it's an option to do so. So again, we're going to run it like it's our shop here. We've tried a lot of these brands, but we run 3D Solutech. We run some Eson. We have run Hatchbox. We don't right now. We're getting big into Overture right now. And we run some Prusament. So we'll select those just to start with. So we've got our filament selected. Next, we're going to put in our electricity charge. This is your kilowatt per hour charge. This will be unique to you and your region. If you've got a utility bill, look it up. It should list it right on there. You're looking for kilowatt per hour. That's what you want. Our next spot is our filament waste. So one of the things that we got a lot of feedback on is the old spreadsheet. They wanted a way to account for misprints, and prints that don't finish. So we introduced this filament waste, and this is going to take you guys to do some math on your end and figure out what you want it to be. But essentially, it's for you to put in a percentage that'll be added on to the material cost of every individual print you do to account for that waste. So we got a little note here. If you would like to account for filament waste per print, put that percentage here. For example, if you get a failure 1 out of 10 prints, you could put a filament waste of 10%, and the 9 successful prints would make up for that one failure. So those 9 successful prints would be increased, cost of them would be increased by 10% to make up for that one failure you get. So you can play with that, whatever your shop runs at, whatever your failure rate is at, or if you have no failure rate, but you want to account for purging, filament before and after color changes, you can put that number to be whatever you guys want it to be. All right, next stop here, we got boxes or packaging. So we supply you with 3 box types that you'll be able to select in the main spreadsheet and the cost. Now this should include not just the box, but any sort of packaging material that you put into that box. So I mean, if you have bubble wrap, if you have little torn paper, if you do the brown paper, whatever it is, whatever the total cost is for packaging, put it into this box number. We have box 1, 2, and 3, obviously to account for different size boxes for different products you sell. If you charge a shipping markup, that is what this box is for. Different sites, I know Etsy for sure. If you have the buyer pay for shipping with like a calculated rate, you are able to put in there a markup where it'll make it look like the calculated rate is more than it is. So for example, if the calculated rate to ship is $3, but you have a shipping markup of $1, it'll show the buyer the rate as $4, and then you keep the extra dollar. So if you charge a markup, you can put it there. And then this estimated shipping cost, whatever it is estimated that you're shipping as, even if you don't pay for shipping and the buyer pays for it, you need to fill this in, because over here the note, even if the buyer pays for shipping and included your estimated shipping. I need to rework that. I'll fix that. Anyway, it's used to calculate the correct Etsy fee. So even if the buyer pays it, you get it, and then you pay Etsy for the shipping. So Etsy takes part of that shipping. That shipping cost is included on the fee. So if the item is $10 and the shipping is $3.86, even though the buyer is paying you for that shipping, you're getting that revenue. So then Etsy takes a fee from it, like it's part of the sale, and then you turn around and you actually pay Etsy for the shipping when you go to ship the item. So it's important to have that in there to calculate the proper Etsy fee. Next, we got discounts. If you offer discounts, obviously 1 is 0. That way you can run the sheet with no discounts, and then 2, 3, or 4. Whatever your discount rates are, you can put them in here so that you have it. Lastly, is just your farm info, what you call yourself, your address, your state. This doesn't have much use right now, guys, but in future updates, we're going to add some reporting functionality where it'll automate some reports with your information on it, so you can print it off and look at it and know what your farm is doing, and it'll look professional if you should ever need that. All right, so we did all this, right? We got our printer brand selected, we got our filament selected. So now let's go down to our printer machines, our printer brand pages, and we will pick our actual machine. So if we click here, now we're here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so it's easy to see. All right, so you can see it starts off blank, and all you got is selections over here. You can these are all the Creality models that we are offering currently. This list will expand with future updates, but this is what we are launching with. So in my shop here, I have one Ender 3. Oh, I gotta slide over. Okay, there you go. There it is. Pops up. I have multiple Ender 3 V2s, so I will select that as well, and then there it pops up. So if I have other of these machines, you can click all of them you have, and they'll all pop up. Now we're going to look at the actual printers themselves. This is your maintenance schedule for Ender 3 V2. This is your maintenance schedule for Ender 3. They're all going to come populated the same, guys. Every machine is different. If you've been in this game for any length of time, you know this. So this is going to be your history with your shop. These are close numbers, I would say, but don't take them as gospel. So we do all of our pricing based off of 6 cents per hour maintenance charge for the machines, and then it comes pre-filled with a lot of the things that typically go wrong on a printer, but then we leave you some boxes where you can customize it and add things in. Next we go down and we got Ender 3 V2 and Ender 3, so we actually have 4 Ender 3 V2, so I have 4 here, and we have 1 Ender 3. We don't run our uptime. This is your daily printed daily uptime. I would say we're at about, 14 hours on average. So that's what I'll put for both of these. This is what's going to be used to calculate your average profit per hour, as well as your daily profit for these printers in your print farm. So we did that for Creality, and then we got a couple Prusas. So we have one of the big ones. I'm going to zoom in again. We have one of the big ones, and we have 2 of the minis. So again, same thing. Do your maintenance schedule for these printers. We have 1 big one. We have 2 of these. And then again, we're going to go to 14 hours uptime. If you guys can see behind me, none of my printers are running because I'm recording this in the morning and I have not started them for the day because I was excited to do this. But we run about 14 hours a day here, I would say, on average. So there's my Prusas. Lastly, we'll go to the Anycubic, and I just have the 1 Viper. So we'll pick that, zoom in. Here's the Viper. Same thing, maintenance schedule. I have 1. We'll go 14 hours, and there you go. All right, so we got those done. We could jump quick back to the farm tab if we wanted to, just to make sure we didn't miss anything. We're all still good. Next, let's head over to the filament data sheet or the filament library, whatever you want to call it. We'll use the link up top here to do that. So here we jumped. And as you can see, our Solutech is listed, our Eastsun is listed, our Overture is listed, our Prusament is listed. Those were the 4 that we selected in here. If we were to select more would pop up here as options for us. So now that we have our filament selected, you guys can spend as much time or as little time as you want in here. Do not take these values as gospel. These needs to be, you're unique to your farm, what you can get your stuff for, and what colors you run. So, Solutech, if that's your basic brand and has all your basic colors, you can list them here. If, Prusament is your fancy stuff and you get all crazy and they're more, you can have your fancy stuff here and list the prices. One thing to note, this cost should be your cost per 1 kilogram. Okay, it's important in our formulas. So if you buy half rolls, just adjust this cost as if you bought a full roll, right? So if your half roll costs $10, put 20, in here. Or opposite, if you're buying huge 2K rolls, cut it in half. But just do the math so that it is, for a 1K price. And put all the prices in. So obviously, you can have different pricing for different colors in Solutech because some brands, different colors cost different prices. So fill all these in as you see fit, and then you're done with the filament. we'll go back to the tab. We did our printers, we did our filament brands, we inserted this. So now we can actually get into the spreadsheet and start running some math. So here's the spreadsheet. I will zoom in again so we can read. I will have to scroll a little bit. So the spreadsheet here, spreadsheet itself has not changed much, guys, as far as what's in it. A lot of what has changed in this version is all the hidden stuff that you can't see as far as formulas and the logic behind it to make it run better and more accurate. But we still got the SKU if you run SKUs, category if you run category, what your product name is. You're going to put in your print time. You're going to put in grams of filament. You're going to put in your other supplies. So if you sell something that requires a piece of plastic or requires electronics, that can be in there. You're still going to select your box, which one. It'll adjust accordingly, so you can see what the 50 cents and your total cost of goods. And we got notes around here, guys, just to, if you're new and you need some help understanding what it is, we got you covered. So cost of goods, or COGS, is cost of goods sold, and is the total cost it requires to produce the product for sale. And then we got the sale price. So if you have zero sale price in here, you'll see nothing is filled in. This is kind of your go button here. So once you put a price in here, it'll calculate. So you can kind of know you're at $2. So if I want a markup of 3 times, I'm going to be at 6. So I'm going to say $6.99. And then it calculates everything. So it adjusts your Etsy fee based off your sales price, and you get your total cost. And obviously, we're not at that 300% markup anymore. We're only at a 194% markup, or $3.40 profit, with a gross profit margin of $48.60. So this is where you guys can play and kind of determine what you want your numbers to be, right? Online retail kind of benchmark is 45% for a gross profit margin. I've noticed that with print farms, I like to be higher than that. I want to be in the 60s probably. And depending on what your goals are, you can adjust here. But one thing I'll mention real quick, guys, is this is the gross profit margin for this one item. You may have other overhead expenses to run your business that will reduce your net profit margin. So I've gotten a lot of people on TikTok and different places saying, this isn't profit, it's not profit. You didn't account for labor, you didn't account for your rent, you didn't account for your AC, you didn't account for janitorial. No, I did not, because that's not what we're doing here. We are accounting for gross profit margin of a product. Those other overhead expenses then come out of this gross profit margin to pay your overhead that are for expenses that are not allocated to the specific product. This is all for this one product. You then take your profit, or your revenue that these products generate you, and you deduct your business expenses, and you let with your net your net revenue, your net income for your business. So this is our item here. We got just a generic EcoDot 4th gen wall mount. If we were selling one of those, obviously margins aren't there for me, so I'm going to bump this up. So I'm going to bump this up to $7.99, see what happens there. Okay, we're at 53, still not there. I'm just going to jump up $9.99. I think someone would pay $10 for a wall mount. And then there you go. We're right at 61%. That's probably where I'd want to be. It's a 2.5 hour print, so you're almost making $3 an hour. Depending on what you'd want, you can bump up a little bit more. I tend to shoot for $3 an hour, and you'd actually be able to see this if you went to the sheet. So say we wanted to calculate our pricing for our Viper. We do our Viper. We would pick whichever one we're doing. We'll go Solutech, and we will just go black, because really it's sorry those drop downs aren't showing. It must be something with the screen capture, but those were drop downs where you pick what you got here. Really, it's a utility item, right? So I mean, you don't need it to be rainbow colored, so we'll just go black. You can see we actually got better because the Solutech is a cheaper filament, so we're actually at 65% now, and now we are closer to that $3 an hour. And to see what your profits were, guys, you could go back, jump back to that Viper page. So we'll go to AnyCubic, we'll scroll down, you can see what it is. The average profit per hour for our AnyCubic based off our catalog is $2.62. If we had just the one printer going and we printed for 14 hours, enough sales to generate 14 hours worth of print time, we daily profit of $36.72. And this will change based off of what you select on this sheet. So we have Viper selected, so it's showing Viper. If we want to look at our V2s, you can see printer not selected. So if I went over back here and I change this to our V2s, it'll recalculate based off of the V2 maintenance schedule, the V2 electricity cost, all that stuff. You can see our profit's still similar. But now if we go to Creality, our average profit per hour is $263. If we had all 4 printers of ours running and they were all running for 14 hours, those 4 machines would make us $147.28 per day. This profit per hour is average based off of your whole catalog. So the logic behind the scenes here is going to take all these profit numbers and divide it by all these hours, if there should be information in there, and average it out to give you your average profit per hour. So you'll be able to see how profitable your catalog is as a whole, averaging it, so you know, okay, my Ender 3s, if they are running for 12 hours a day, they're averaging a revenue of $3 a day. And then you can say, okay, and then my Ender 3, if that's running for 14 hours a day, that's bringing in this much a day. And you can total it all up and know what your farm is making. In future updates, guys, like I said earlier, we are going to have reports, and that'll obviously be one of the reports. We are going to have an update where you'll be able to quickly see a snapshot of your farm based off of all these selections and your catalog, and just see, boom, right now, if all my machines are running 14 hours a day, this is what I'm making on average. Obviously, if you get some days where one of your high profit margin things sells, it could be better. If one of your best sellers is a lower profit margin thing, maybe it won't be it, but it's taking the average, as of now. So that's what we got, guys. I mean, I hope you guys like it. It really automates it a lot, and a little setup on the front end with this stuff. Once you have it set up, and there's room for expansion too. So if you decide that, hey, I want to try one of these new whatever predators, click it, boom, put the info in, it's added to your print farm. You can now go to Etsy over here, and it'll be here to click, predators added. The only options that are up here, guys, for drop downs are the ones that you guys have selected on these sheets. So if you have an issue where you can't see, hey, my printer's not in the drop down, it's because you don't have it selected here on the brand tab. So that's just one tip. I would also say, guys, again, remember this is in very much beta. We have reached out to a lot of printer companies to get their electricity consumption for their printers, but not all have gotten back to us. And we don't run all these printers. So some of these printers we've had to scour the internet to see people that have run tests on the power consumption, what their max power consumption is. So those will be continually being updated as we get more accurate information, but based off of just knowledge of printers and knowing what a high consumption is, we always err on the side of higher than lower, guys. So you can always be confident that if anything, you're going to be better than this. And one more thing I will note with the electricity cost, guys, this is the cost for only the 2.5 hours that it's printing, right? If you let your machine sit there and heat up for 20 minutes before you start it, or you have your G-code set to where the fan runs the whole time after it ends and you don't get to that print for 4 hours, that's going to skew these numbers. So again, be efficient in your farm, right? Only, get stuff off the bed. Only preheat it when you're ready to do it, and take the stuff off so you limit your extra, use of electricity when your farm's not actually producing you revenue. All right. I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much if you're here to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys like the video, even if you don't get the spreadsheet, but you just think, hey, that's cool, please like. It helps out a lot. Or if you got questions and you got, things that you think would make it better, let us know in the comments. We're always improving it. We're always making updates on it. But that is our print farm pricing strategy, Etsy sales spreadsheet. We'll come up with a better name in the future. Version 3, it is now live on our Patreon if you are watching this. So if you want to be one of our beta testers, follow the link to our Patreon and you can get in on it and you can have this downloaded to your desktop today, helping you price your stuff, guys. If I've seen one thing with new people on Etsy and online, they are pricing themselves too low with their pricing and trying to undercut sales, which I get, but it's not sustainable long term. So make sure you guys are pricing accurately. Make sure you're actually making money. So at the end of the month, when you did all the work, you packaged all the orders, you sent them all out, you actually made some money for yourself and for your family. Because really, I know it's a great hobby. I know we love 3D printing as a hobby, but a lot of us are in this to make money, which is very good and nothing wrong with that. So if that's you, make sure you're pricing right. I hope this tool helps you guys. Otherwise, that's it for me. If you do end up to the Patreon, make sure you join the Discord. We have lots of good conversations in there, guys. I'm just rambling at this point, so we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.